stood behind a mic in a long time in this capacity. But it's time that we come out of the closet. It's time that we step up and take our rightful place. If I call myself a neighborhood preacher, I need to begin to speak to the neighborhood that is right around me falling apart. I have a 21-year-old son, and every morning my first text is, "Son, are you okay?" We have to stop. These are our children, our babies. Please, I don't know how to say it any other way, but please. And then to those of you who call yourself Christians, who walk in the same walk that I walk in, there's a text hid in the Bible that says, if my people who are called by my name, it's time that if you claim that you're in that fight, that we humble ourselves, turn from our wicked ways, seek his face, and he will heal our land. I'm a believer, and I think that it's time that we join hands and begin to reclaim the community that God has placed in our hands.
The message is very clear. Guns down, St. Paul. We can no longer afford to lose another life, bury another baby. Crying mothers and fathers coming on bending knees, needing our help and our guidance. We are a community, a strong community. We stand together as one. And today we say guns down, St. Paul. We are very strong about that. We mean that. So this is our message, and this is why we glad that you're here today to take this message and deliver it throughout this land. Guns down, St. Paul. We cannot afford to lose another life. We cannot afford to bury another baby. This means so much to me. I lost my niece to gun violence. She was shot 8 times and killed. This means so much to me because we losing lives every day. And I want you young people, you young black men out there to stand up and be men today. Stop the gun violence. Put the guns away. Start hugging on each other, loving on one another, because we can't make it like this. I can't do this. Our gun summits have been successful. We just need to reach out and do more. We need billboards. We need gun lawn signs up. We need stickers on the back of cars that says, "Guns down, St. Paul." Guns down, St. Paul. Guns down, St. Paul. And that's what we need, and that's the message that we here today to tell and to deliver. Thank you.
Nick, you've been around a long time. I mean, this feels a little like 1995 again. What lessons did you learn back 20, 25 years ago that might be helpful today?
Well, I think a couple things. First of all was our knee-jerk reaction to shootings and stuff in our community. The second was that we put more reliance on the criminal justice system than on our community in coming up with meaningful solutions. And one of the most troubling things that we've been trying to deal with for I don't know how many years with different county attorneys and police chiefs and new special agents in charge of the FBI is getting at the source of trying to figure out how these guns are falling into the hands of these individuals. We can set up sting operations and all kinds of creative police tactics to go after folks selling drugs, but we can't get those folks selling guns. And they're getting the guns from somewhere. Someone is giving them these guns, and they're getting more and more and more sophisticated. But they just don't have a creative way, and I don't know if it's a lack of desire or what, to go after some of these guns. But that still doesn't negate our responsibility as a community
Absolutely.
to deal with this issue. And one of the things hopefully we can do differently is to backtrack, find out who some of these folks are, and sit down and talk to them. Not just about the impact that this violence is having on the families and the victims, but the collateral damage that can come from it. We don't want to go back to a police state where the criminal justice system is all infested in our community because all the work of Black Lives Matters and all the other groups would just be lost. It would be a lost cause, and I think this is an opportunity. Unfortunate that we're even here talking about it at this point in time. And we've been on this corner 25, 30 years ago talking about some similar things that was going on in our community. So God willing, this time it'll be different.
Nick, you're also a former city council member. You saw the chief in front of the council last week talking about budget issues. The council expressed some reluctance about rolling back the proposed budget cuts. Is that a solution here?
Well, back in the day, we thought more cops was part of the solution, but it wasn't part of the solution. And so we need to come up with a comprehensive plan that may in fact include some increases, and it may not, but we know that's not the solution. It's just hiring more cops, because we've been there and we've done that. When we had cops, DEA agents, FBI, everybody saturating this community, and it was just a temporary fix that didn't resolve in long-term solutions.
That's right.
In one of the cases, we get you to the mic. In one of the cases, you all appealed to the community. It looks like a man who tried to step forward to help got shot and killed. What are your thoughts?
Well,
Tell them who you are, brother.
well, my name is Melvin W. Carter Jr. I might be related to somebody you may know, but and I'm recovering for 30 years after on the St. Paul Police Department. I think there's a lot of things that are going on that we don't know, and I think we have to pray for wisdom together collectively to solve this problem. I think that we're going to have to extend our trust, extend our areas of trust to trust law enforcement, trust the police, and they need to trust us with information. We don't know what they know, and there's information they can tell us, and there's information they can't tell us. But they need to give us as much as they can and help us to help them. And we need to. It's going to be a team effort for us to figure this thing out. The prevent and defense is not going to work. I think we need an all-out, inclusive teamwork effort, aggressive to stop this and figure out and seek and improve the wisdom collectively from one another.
Do you recall a night like this all the on the force where 3 people were killed, including a good Samaritan?
No, I do not have that. I think that's the bottom line. I think we have to come together and establish the line in the sand and decide how we're not going to stand for this and how this does not define us, and what we can collectively, what action we can take to collectively resolve this problem. I think it's not a us against them situation, because there's wisdom in both sides of the solution, and we have to figure out the best that each other has to bring. The fact that a person came out doing a good deed, being a good citizen, and gets murdered for it. We need to come out in a way that we haven't before.
Yeah.
I get it.
Nor agrees with me. Enough is enough.
This is. You said you remember a time when this has happened before. We have had times worse than this, when those 5 Coppage kids were burnt up in an arson fire that was perpetrated, by gang members. But if it's just one, it's bad.
Yeah.
We got 3 veterans standing here. 3 veterans. And we haven't gone to a fraction of funerals of brothers that we know that died in action, that got killed in foreign land, right?
That's right.
I think there's been 1 or 2 in I don't know how many years, but it seemed like every other week, every month, one of our young folks are killed out here senselessly, in the street. And so that's why we think it's, we don't have any other choice, that we think we need to come together, and like we said, we're going to try to bring the broader community together to look at a different solution in establishing a better partnership with all the parties involved. So this thing just, otherwise it'll get out of control, and folks outside of our community will will end up coming up with their solutions, and we as black men and women know what that means, and we don't want that.
Mr. Carter, what advice have you given your son about what's going on?
Well, this is not a topic that he and I have discussed, except that I think he wants the police. I know he wants the police to be successful, and he's preoccupied with this situation and resolving and bringing forth the best wisdom, the best resources collectively from the political perspective, the elected and the elected officials and department heads and the community. I think but I do think that, in my opinion, is that this needs to be community led and department enforced. So I don't. He and I haven't specifically discussed this particular conundrum.
What would you say to him? He's speaking out about this later today. What's that fatherly advice?
Well, for me to say that I would say something to him may suggest that he hasn't already taken things into consideration. I know he's a person of great wisdom, great insight, but I could tell you what I think I would do, under the circumstances, and it's pretty similar. But I think he has to adapt to this set of circumstances and take this and maybe reconsider some of the. I think that last night may be a game changer. I don't know, but I would suggest that. And I think he'll take this all into due diligence and bring forth the best result possible. I don't want to sound like he's not. Because he's pretty observant. He's on top of this stuff. It's not that he doesn't know about it. It's not that he hasn't lived the inner city life. It's not that he's suddenly discovering this situation. And I would tell him to continue to say his prayers and continue to seek wisdom and continue to seek input from community and listen to the department heads and make the best decision that he's making. And I think that's what he's doing. Thank you for asking me that.
There seems to be a debate, not just in St. Paul, but Minneapolis too, about whether or not more officers is the answer. Do any of you have a thought on that?
I think we've already said that, that the solution lies with the community, and as Brother Melvin have also said, in partnership, with the system. But we've been down that road again when the community was hollering and clamoring for more police, and we're right back here today. And we can go all the way back 25, 30 years when the community demanded that there be more officers in our area, and it didn't really resolve the problem. It was just a temporary fix. And so we're looking for something much more meaningful now.
I believe our message is real clear this morning. Guns down St. Paul. We're tired of hearing sirens in our neighborhood picking up bodies. Guns down St. Paul is a very clear message. The life we save just might be your own. So we ask that you continue to broadcast this message. Guns down St. Paul. It's very clear. And our community will stand up and stand strong together to make sure we address this at our level within us as a family. And it's going to get addressed. Starting right now, we're addressing it. We don't want you to feel that we don't hear the cries of our community, because we absolutely do. We don't want you to feel that we've turned our back on these young people, because we have not. And that's why we're here.
And three of us, you haven't seen us for a long time. We've been trying to ride off into the sunset.
And I won't let them.
But Almighty God compels us as men, responsible men, to stand up. And, that's what we're here to do. And hopefully we'll bring the rest of the community together and, do the best that we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.